Project Hail Mary is said to be everybody's favorite movie of 2026.
I am Rocky.
That's not bad.
Amaze, amaze, amaze.
So it had me thinking, is it the marketing budget? Is it Ryan Gosling? Is it the BookTok community that has everybody raving about this movie? So I decided I had to go watch Project Hail Mary to find out, is this movie actually any good? And ultimately, the big question is, why does everybody love Project Hail Mary? Yes, I'm gonna be wearing my glasses for this episode because I have a migraine, and yes, also because Grace had glasses. If you're new here, welcome back to Unseriously Serious. I love talking about films, commentary, and so many things that I consume. And if you like doing that in an unseriously serious way, then subscribe and stay. For context purposes, Project Hail Mary is based on a book. Imagine you wake up in the middle of space by yourself with two other astronauts that are basically dead, okay? And then you put your science-y, mathsy brain together and you find out that the reason why you're in space is because you have to save planet Earth. But along this journey, you then come across an alien, which you name Rocky. You form this beautiful friendship and bonds with each other. The reason why you're bonding with this alien is because his planet is also dying. This is important information because no longer is it just about the humans, but it's also about another planet called Erid. What makes the sci-fi space movie so different to all the other space and sci-fi movies out there? And just to be clear, we are not comparing Interstellar and Project Hail Mary in this video. We don't do that, okay? That's criminal activity. Interstellar and Project Hail Mary are two different movies. I don't understand why we're comparing Project Hail Mary to Interstellar. Usually space and sci-fi movies have this very cliche, normal storyline to it of human versus aliens and humans colonizing another planet. And in these movies, we often place humans on a pedestal, kind of more superior than all the other animals, creatures, or aliens that are out there. But Project Hail Mary draws on something spectacular that is so different. And when I was watching it, I was generally mesmerized by this aspect of the movie. It draws on the connection between a human and an alien, right? That you wouldn't expect to connect with each other at all. You wouldn't expect them to even form a bond or form a relationship at all. There's one scene that does this amazing, is when Grace and Rocky first meet each other and they are trying to communicate. They're trying to understand what one is saying, and like they're not even focused on themselves. They're focusing on who is this other person, what is happening, what do they need, what is actually going on with them. That was so beautiful to see. And even when we see about the spaceships connecting each other, the connection between them two is the empathy. The reason why they're able to connect is because they cared enough to ask questions about the other individual. Rocky cared about Grace, Grace cared about Rocky, and that is what was able to then build this communication or this relationship that we all adore. I adore their relationship. It's not even real. Why is their relationship not real, God? I need this relationship to be real. They didn't have to become friends. They were after the same thing to save their planet. They should not be caring about any other person. They should not be caring about any other individuals out there. But then when they found out that both of their planets were dying, they said, let's do this together. And it kind of brings this moral story of two are better than one. Like two people fighting to like save their planet, to do the thing for their people is better than just doing it alone. Going alone is going to make you good. It's going to go slower, right? But doing it together, when they put all their two brains together, it was a wonderful journey. But not only that, they were able to accomplish their journey. It teaches this very deep moral lesson of that friendship can be birthed out of the oddest and weirdest situations. You don't have to look like each other. You don't have to act like each other. You don't have to believe the same things. You don't have to look the same. You don't have to come from the same background. That you can extend yourself to other people around you, essentially have empathy. And if you come to think about it, the whole like human versus alien relationship, Grace needed Rocky because Grace knew he was not a brave guy. And also it just teaches us that heroes are not just born heroes. Sometimes heroes grow over time by having community, of having people around you to show you how brave you can be. Because Grace became brave because Rocky showed his bravery. Films teach us how to have empathy with other people and even allows us to put ourselves into shoes that are not like us. Like we're not like an alien. I don't look like a rock. But the thing about alien and human dynamics in space movies is that sometimes it can be quite boring because the landscape is very small and it's only two people kind of communicating and there's not really much going on. But do I agree? Was the movie boring? Let's see. When was the last time you went to the cinema and you were so invested in a relationship between a human and an alien? Answer. For us to be able to connect with an animatronic, for us to be to get so emotional over this character that's like a rock alien moving around singing. Excuse me, that is not easy work. I can't remember the last time I had been so invested in a relationship dynamic like Rocky and Grace. That was so platonic, so pure, so honest, so kind, so like hopeful. I'm so sorry. I've not seen that in a long time. Okay? And I think it requires a lot of skill and a lot of storytelling to be able to do something like that. Please. Not only did they bring the character to life, but they also brought this relationship to life. And that made us get so invested in the relationship, that brought us to tears, that we saw them grow in their relationship, in their dynamic, enough for us to then go home and be reciting the same jokes that they were saying within themselves. Amaze, amaze, amaze. Me hate Mark. So I just met an alien. It's in my brain. Like, it's not gonna leave. And I think that's why this movie will probably go down as a classic. It's definitely gonna go down as a classic. You can't deny that, guys. This movie's a classic. The fact that I left the movie with so many memorable moments made me understand, okay, I kind of understand why people love this movie.
It is time go. Amaze. Rocky, what is the human technology?
Ryan Gosling, give him his flowers, because to be able to connect with an animatronic like that and make us still feel something by himself, essentially, with just like a voiceover, that is incredibly powerful. That is inside, like, that is so incredible. I would say the performances of Grace and Rocky is the very thing that made this movie move. Literally move forward, because without Ryan Gosling's ability to kind of embody his character as like someone who is a hero but doesn't know he's a hero, that has to learn that he's a hero and has to learn his bravery, that is kind of the character arc that we get to see happen over time. I think a movie like this requires a great deal of storytelling, a great skill of embodying a character, and also a great skill of showing a bond that was so true, so pure, and also enough for us to connect with. That is insane work. Okay, let's not ignore that. Okay, we can't ignore. We need to give flowers to Ryan. Okay, we gotta give the flowers to Ryan immediately. Okay, we gotta be for real. But the performances actually doesn't make the movie that boring then, because the performances draws on this relationship between two people and the chaos that's happening. They're able to then form this relationship and this bond with each other. So then it's not necessarily boring if you think about it. Even though we have these inside jokes now with other people who've also watched the movie, there is something else that is so important that we need to talk about, especially in the world of like Hollywood movies and the movies that we are coming out with right now. Why this movie probably means so much to people just beyond the book talk community. Because have you noticed 2025, in my opinion, was the year of horror. Like, so many thrillers, psychological horrors, so many like fear-inducing movies that were coming out. And the start of this new year, we get this light-hearted, beautiful, hopeful movie. It makes sense. Okay, because a lot of us need to stop watching horror movies. Including myself. Sometimes watch something that makes you cry out of joy, cry because of love, cry because of friendship, just enjoy the cinematics instead of sitting there in fear, trembling, having a heart attack whilst you're watching a movie. Just not everyday horror thriller, you know. That's why we need Project Hail Mary to give us a little bit of joy. Project Hail Mary is a fresh breath air for people, because last year, back to back, we had dark horror, psychological thriller, we had this, we had that, but now we're having a breather, I think, from a little bit of horror. Project Hail Mary touches on, you know, these grounding themes like sacrifice, like connection, like friendship, being able to have empathy with other people, to connect with people that don't look like you. It had so many grounding themes in the movie that we sometimes lack in society. So when you're watching that, you're thinking, oh, I just wish the world would be a little bit more like this. Like, Jesus, we wish a little bit more people could be a little bit more empathetic around here. The world right now is extremely dark. And on top of that, you want to watch dark movies on top of that. This is why we need to inject Project Hail Mary, because Project Hail Mary didn't even show us the consequences of the earth dying. We didn't even get to see how the earth was deteriorating. We didn't even get to see that, right? We just got to see an alien and a human form a beautiful relationship and then save their planets. But not only that, continue on their journey together. Listen, we need to inject more of that into society. One of the biggest things I took from Project Hail Mary is that in the midst of two worlds ending, friendship was being birthed. Guys. Girl. No! Get out of here. What do you mean? When I'm looking at the news every day and I'm seeing worlds colliding, clashing, we got a movie over here with an alien and a human forming friendship. Oh, I wish! Get a load of this world. Oh, but then you get back into reality and you realize, oh, all fiction. Help me, Jesus, because I left that movie thinking to myself, if only people understand the importance of empathy, if only that people understand the importance of finding friendship in the places that are not comfortable for you, if only we saw that as a symbolic way to then go out into the world, to then behave like that and to act like that. This is why I tell you films actually change me. This is why I say films change my life, because I leave watching that movie and when I go now to see someone on the train station, I now want to talk to you because Rocky did, okay? This is why I tell you films change you guys. Rocky. When I left the movie, I then realized why everybody loves this movie. No, it's not only just because of the memorable jokes. That is part of it. And I think the biggest part is that it's feel-good cinema experience. So is Project Hail Mary actually any good? It's a brilliant movie. It's going down in the classics. It's a movie that I would tell my kids to go watch in 20 years' times because it's gonna have it's gonna be framed in my room. The back here needs to be framed with some movies, and I can't lie, Project Hail Mary might be up there. So let me know your thoughts on Project Hail Mary, what you loved about the movie, what you didn't like about the movie, what you wish the movie did better. I never read the book, mind you, but I'm obsessed with this movie. Honestly obsessed with the movie. I've actually watched a lot of critique from people who have read the book to understand whether or not it's a valid movie or it's an accurate movie and stuff like that. So let me know if you watched the movie, if you've actually read the book as well. And also, guys, subscribe, stay around because I have so many more videos. I have some videos that is coming up soon. Let me know your thoughts on this and I will see you in the next one. I'm not an astronaut. I'm a scientist. Amaze, amaze, amaze. We need boundaries. So